time. Went down and checked out to be sure the hotel in Lowell is still open. It's a Sonata. I think you said you gave them some liquor license. Well, they had license they issued recently.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say it's a busy hotel, but they're there.
Oh, that's good.
Whenever you're ready, Cliff.
All right. Ready.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the Dawn Patrol. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. Somewhere out in the ether is Mike. There he is, Mike Smith, joining us from Florida. How are things in Florida, Mike?
His audio might not be working. He just popped in.
Now it should be working. Okay.
Works good,
Good morning.
Mike. Works good.
And we have our producer, John McDonough. We're looking for a couple of other people to join us. So, U.S. national debt is $39 billion and $52 billion. It's good as long as it's good. Low today of 35, high of 64. It'll be cloudy. And sounds like not a bad day. Back in 1842, ether anesthesia was used for the first time in an operation by the American surgeon Crawford Long. Well, that was a step forward. In 1855, in the run-up to the Civil War, border ruffians from Missouri invaded Kansas and forced election of a pro-slavery legislature. Not a good thing. In 1867, Alaska is purchased from Russia for $7.2 million, about 2 cents an acre. U.S. Secretary of State William Seward is the one who did that. It was originally nicknamed Seward's Folly. Turned out to be a good move. In 1870, Texas is readmitted to the United States Congress following Reconstruction. Yeah, amending this after the Civil War took a while. In 1976, during the Israeli-Palestinian conflict, in the first organized response against Israeli positions by a Palestinian collective since 1948, Palestinians create the first Land Day. In 1979, Navy British member of Parliament, is killed by a car bomb as he exits the Palace of Westminster. The Palace of Westminster is that building with the tall clock tower. The Irish National Liberation Army.
Big
Go
Ben,
ahead.
right?
What?
Loving referred to as Big Ben.
Yeah, Big Ben. In 1981, U.S. President Ronald Reagan was shot in the chest outside a Washington, D.C. hotel by John Hinckley. 3 others were wounded in the same incident. John Hinckley was trying to impress some woman. 2018, the Israeli army kills 17 Palestinians and wounds 1,400 in Gaza during a Land Day protest. Donald Trump in 2023 becomes the first former U.S. president to be indicted by a grand jury. Yeah, I think that was not very good. At 1135, Maimonides, a Spanish rabbi and philosopher, was born. Maimonides was a bright lad. In 1894, Sergei Ilyushin, a Russian engineer, designed airplanes like the Ilyushin transport. He was born, passed away in 1977. In 1938, Klaus Schwab, German economist and engineer, founder of the World Economic Forum, was born. The World Economic Forum is not one of my hero organizations. Do you have any thoughts on that, Mike?
Well, I'm not real familiar with that forum, but if I'm guessing, I would think that they should be deciding what goes on in the whole world for economics, and that's probably not what we would want.
Hey, there's a fire in Dragon. Channel 5 has some video, so if you look at your screen, I don't know why it's mad at me here. It's asking me all these questions. That's the fire in Draken. Thank you, Channel 5. Let's see if it works. Thought it's not working, but that's on Bridge Street in Draken. I guess we're going to watch their ad first. And then we can see the fire. Looks like an ad for a Jeep. Go buy a Jeep?
I found a Jeep.
My daughter-in-law has the electric Jeep. She loves it. She's just got it.
I think, Mike, you summed up Klaus Schwab and the World Economic Forum pretty well. Bunch of rich guys trying to tell the rest of us how to live our lives.
So that's the fire in Draken. Back over to Cliff.
In 1986, James Cagney, actor, dancer.
Cliff, I thought we were done with history. You finished off with trying to put Trump in jail. Where are you going now?
He's almost done.
No, you can't jump backwards and forwards. You have to go in sequential. You're already into 22. You're trying to put Trump in jail.
John,
Yes, Cliff.
you're dragging the show. Anyway,
You're wasting time. Who cares what color paint they made of a Buick in 1966? A new color was introduced for the Buick line of cars at General Motors.
well, I'm just trying to honor James Cagney, who I think did a wonderful job in his role as George M. Cohan in the musical Yankee Doodle Dandy. He passed away in 1986. I realize that's before you
How
were
about
born.
Sammy Davis's girlfriend is in a movie and she don't like it?
I'm sorry. Whose girlfriend?
Sammy Davis's former girlfriend. I forget. She's a beauty queen, and she doesn't like the person who's portraying her in the upcoming movie.
And in 1990, Harry Bridges passed away. Australian-born American activist and trade union leader. Because of his communist leanings, he stalled out for a while the Hawaii becoming a U.S. state. So today is Land Day in Palestine, National Doctors Day in the United States, School Day of Nonviolence and Peace in Spain. Here we
Okay,
are.
here is what you're looking at here is Kim Novak, and she was Sammy Davis's girlfriend at one time, and they're going to create a movie about this. Kim Novak's her name, and she doesn't like the person that picked to play her part, and she doesn't like the way the movie's going. So that's Kim Novak, lovely woman, and her and Sammy Davis Jr. had a wonderful time. Back to you, Cliff.
So, in the important news, 12 tons of Kit Kat chocolate bars went missing in Europe last week after thieves made off with the truck carrying them. That's according to the Swiss food giant Nestle. The Kit Kat, which is made by Nestle, said the truck carrying over 400,000 bars of its new range set off from central Italy to distribute the chocolate throughout Europe. However, never reached its scheduled final destination in Poland. And the vehicle and merchandise remain unaccounted for.
Gone to Russia.
I was going to say I like Kit Kat bars, so I hope they don't do that here. So,
Mike, I'm suggesting it's gone to Russia. That's the only place you could unload that amount of candy, and nobody would say anything.
maybe for the Russian troops. I don't know.
No, the Russian black market. Where'd you get that cell phone? I bought it at the Apple store. No, it fell out of the back of a truck.
Yeah. It's interesting that they would steal Kit Kat bars. You'd think they'd want to steal something else that's worth more money, but you know, I'm thinking that they needed some treats for the Russian troops to keep their morale up.
That sounds plausible.
I think the truck driving thief grabbed the wrong truck.
So, but 400,000 plus candy bars. What are they? $1 a piece? $1.50 a piece?
Maybe, I don't know. I mean, it depends on the size, and who knows if they were with that many Kit Kat bars, they might have been in bags. You know, they have the small ones, so that could have been that.
Still, a chunk of change. Anyway, I thought the U.S.
They're $2.99. They started $1.99 up to $2.99.
Okay.
Almost, no, $1 billion. $1 million.
Eileen here.
Hello, Eileen. How are you?
Good morning. I was looking into maybe extending the weekend. It was a long weekend.
Nah.
So you want to take the day off, kid?
No, I would just like to take the day off from everything.
Well, you should have
A
thought
new
about
week,
that yesterday.
a new challenge.
Comment from the audience, the Twix bar, good morning, a very underrated candy bar. Bullseyes are another very great underrated chocolate.
So I like Twix bars too. I like the combination of those.
Tell me about Bullseye's chocolate. Where the heck is Bullseye's chocolate? I've never seen that. You see the Bullseye, it comes in a little wrapper, brown with the white in the middle, the sugar in the middle. I never saw a chocolate one.
That's first I've ever heard of that kind of candy.
Bullseyes are another great, very underrated chocolate. So, Jay, you're going to have to send us a picture of that bullseye you're talking about, buddy. Back to you, Cliff.
Anyway, I thought the U.S. Senate had acted well passing a funding bill for the Department of Homeland Security. And then I read what Jessica Pounds, who blogs as Data Republican, had to say. She starts out, "Hello, Senator Thune. At 3 a.m. on Friday, March 27th, in a near-empty chamber, you passed a bill by voice vote that excludes all funding for ICE and Customs and Border Patrol. Let me repeat that. Voice vote, no roll call, no record of who was there, no accountability, just you, Barrasso, and a handful of senators shuffling paper in the dead of night while America slept. You could have demanded a recorded vote. You chose not to. You could have held the line for 5 more days until the House returned. You chose not to. You could have used the same procedure tools Democrats have used against you for 40 days. You chose not to. Instead, you gave Chuck Schumer exactly what he asked for. DHS funding minus immigration enforcement, and called it a win. Then you walked to the cameras and blamed the Democrats. Let me be precise about what you did. 1. You caved to a demand Democrats made on day 1 of this shutdown. 41 days of supposed hardball negotiation, and you settled for their opening offer. 2. You handed them a template. The next time Democrats want to defund any agency, ICE, CBP, or anything else, they now know just shut down DHS and wait. John Thune will fold at 3 a.m.
Cliff, can you synopsize what the hell you just said into one sentence? Did the Democrats poop on the Republicans, or the Republicans poop on the Democrats?
Well,
The Republicans wanted to go home on break from the Senate instead of Thune being a real leader and saying, nobody's going home till we get this straightened out. Democrats or Republicans. You're all staying here. You don't get to go home and see your family. You don't get to go home and relax. You need to stay here and get your darn job done.
So the Republicans were saying Republicans got to stay.
No. Thune should have done that as the
No,
Senate.
no, I don't know what color you're talking about. Is it the red coats or the blue coats?
Democrats benefited from this. They did. The Republicans, in typical form over the years, compared to the Democrats, cannot hold their group together and get things done. They don't, for all Nancy Pelosi I didn't like about her, I respected her because she was a real leader of the House. And when things had to get done, she cracked heads and broke knuckles to make sure everybody stayed in line. So until the Republicans figure that out, the Democrats are going to come out ahead. They need to basically get their act together and make things get done. They should have told Thune, if he wanted to be a real leader, should have gone and said, nobody's going home. You're staying here, and you're going to work until we get this done, whether you're Democrat or Republican. And that would have motivated a lot of people, I guarantee it. And the House was correct in saying, you idiots, what did you just do? Johnson in the House. This thing they pulled in the dead of night was a bunch of crap. People aren't aware that you can do this unanimous by unanimous consent. Well, when there's only 4 or 5 people there, nobody else is there, and those people are already agreeing to everything, it makes it look like the Senate voted 100-0 in favor of this, which they did not. And I know somebody down here, he posted it like they did that, and I said he has no understanding how all this rigmarole goes down in the Senate. And I don't know, I think it's time to get somebody else besides Thune in there, and get somebody who really wants to get everybody in line. Because if the Republicans continue like this, they're going to lose the midterms if they don't get their act together. And then they got nothing to say. Because I guarantee if the Democrats get control, they're going to pound on everybody. And they're going to go after Trump like no tomorrow. And they're going to tell the Republicans to sit in the corner while we decide what should be done.
Good morning, Fru.
Good morning, John. Good morning, Mike. And good morning, Cliff.
Good morning, Fru.
Thank you.
Eileen's here, too.
What those Republicans did was an abdication of their responsibility. And I'm not impressed. I've never been impressed with Thune as the Senate leader for the Republicans. They need somebody else in there. They should have somebody like Joe Kennedy or a couple other people that are senators there running the Senate, because I believe things would get done better. But Thune, I'm not impressed with him at all.
So I got some text messages I'm going to read to you guys. First of all, Jay said he did make a mistake. The bullseyes are caramel, and he apologized for that mistake. And he wants to know, do you know where Spike's Variety Store was? I don't know where that was. The next text is, the American Mafia and their staff should be the first people to lose a paycheck when it comes. These clowns shut down the government. That's from Bart. And then another text, Home Run Mike, it'll be impeachment all over again impeachment all over again, my term limits. Back over to you, Cliff.
And just a little other thing I wanted to add in is what John was just referring to by the person who texted. All these guys should not be getting a single cent, the Congress and the House or the Senate, why this is going on. They caused the problem. The other people who are working their jobs daily, like TSA and FEMA and all that, they're not getting any paychecks, but they're expected to do their job. Why should Congress and the Senate get their paychecks when they're not doing their job?
Well, why don't they let the people who work for TSA do insider trading like they do every day of the week?
Yeah, but I'm just saying, you tell them they got to stay in D.C. during the break, and you're not getting a penny for anything. Your pipeline's been cut off as far as paycheck, travels, fees, all that other stuff. You watch how fast they come to an agreement.
Mike,
because they're not going to put up.
I was super surprised they escort these elected officials past the line. They never have to wait in line. That's terrible.
Yeah. Well, I guess in some of the states now, they're not letting that happen anymore. They're telling them, no, not going to happen.
It should never have happened anyway. It's like when the superintendent of schools doesn't eat in the cafeteria of his own school, I think that's a sin. The guy should have to eat what the kids are eating. Or the gal should have to eat what the kids are eating. I don't think I think the principal should eat for free, and they must eat in the cafeteria.
But I was going to say that do we all believe that this is happening because the media is in the pockets of the politicians and those who have money in control? When we sing their praises, and not stand on the side of the American people and blow their trumpet. When they mess out because we have been covering them and saying they are doing a good job, and when they mess out, then when things get blown now, the American people are suffering. It's still the media that comes in, and it is saying what you can call BS. But they had the opportunity to enlighten the media's job is to enlighten and empower the people. The power of the people is more important than the people in power. The media spends the whole time empowering the power of the people in power, not the power of the people.
Well, there is, quite frankly, there's too many things that are happening in the background that are reality. They really happen. Like this Kings, no Kings. Half those people get paid $50 for going. And the other half are saying, why didn't I get paid? And when you ask them what's really going on, they'll say, well, we don't know what you're talking about, people get paid. So all this stuff happening behind the scenes that the media doesn't want to uncover, I think that's what the media's real problem is, and I think Trump should seriously consider taking away their licenses. They don't want to do news. Make room for somebody who does.
Well, your statement is equally biased because the person you are talking of is the person who is also shutting down during press interviews. He doesn't want a question. He also wants questions that are leading questions from specific people. You don't want a question from people who do not align with your own theology.
Well, no politician or businessman wants questions that don't make them look fantastic.
Sometimes when I speak here, when someone speaks something which is different from what the people in power and in the media speak, they term them extremists. And those are code words. When once you start hearing those words, socialist, extremists, know that you are trying to educate the population. And because the media is a one-way stream, they shut you down, they give you names, give a dog a bad name so that you can kill the dog. That is what the media is all about.
I agree.
I agree, Fru. This No Kings protest, I still really don't understand it, because if quote Trump is a king, then how come the courts have blocked stuff from him, the Congress has blocked stuff from them, different states have blocked stuff. If he was, people don't understand what a king really was. That's what bothers me. If you're talking about, like from the British Empire, when the king was really in charge, if he said something happened, it happened. And that's why I don't understand how they come up with this No More Kings protest. I mean, I understand why they're protesting, but the thing with kings, we don't have a king in the United States. We have a president, we have a Congress. And
Mike, don't you realize it was a Democratic holiday? It was a Democratic celebration. That's what it was.
I understand why people protest. I do understand that. And that's fine. But this thing with No More Kings, it bothers me that people are that easily manipulated and ignorant, to be quite honest, about what's going on. Because if they understood, what was going on, we don't have a king. We may have a president that a lot of people don't like. That's fine. And they may not like some of the things he's done. That's fine. But he doesn't get to do whatever he wants. And neither did Biden or Obama or Bush or Clinton or any of them. And when Trump's term ends, you're going to have another president, and people aren't going to like that. But this thing about No More Kings, I don't know. It's just, to me, shows that people are not well informed or have been manipulated, or, as you said, are paid to do this.
Mike,
I totally agree with you, man. Saying a king doesn't mean that you are crowned as a king. If you start behaving like a king, and the American people who are supposed to, who is that checks and balance, if someone wants to bring up that, then those who said that, opposing that, means they don't want that checks and balance to come into play. There is no perfect listen. There are always two sides of the coin. And when you are looking from your own side of the coin, and I am looking from my own side of the coin where I stand and see, and you don't want me to express my own feelings because it may infringe on your own popularity, then that is kingship and that is dictatorship.
Well, wait a second, Fru. Did you get $50 for saying that, or didn't you? Half those people got paid. Did you get
Give
paid?
us a little more background on that, John. You sent a text out about how people were being paid, what, $50 to
Some were getting
pass out
$100.
literature?
Some were getting $100. Comment from the audience: if Trump was king, why didn't they all go to the inauguration and the free meal? What say you, Chuck Schumer? I didn't know there was a free meal. What'd they have? I'll try to find that picture, Cliff.
Okay.
What was it about?
Yes.
Again, like I said, I don't have a problem with people protesting, but for them to say no more king, they had near me, we were walking, Kathy and I, in one of the corners, not too far from us, they had a big protest. And, I walked by and I looked at it, and I would have liked, but I didn't want to waste my time going over there and asking people, like, why do you say no more kings? Because I know what some of the answers were, because I know a couple people who live in this community who are doing it, and I've talked with them before. And it's just, they don't understand how things work as checks and balances. And, the media, like Fru is saying, they can make things look the way they want. And, and they're biased, against Trump. So they're going to do all their efforts to make him look as bad as possible. And, to be quite honest, when Biden was president, I didn't like everything he did, but the media on certain, the conservative media would do everything they could to make Biden look bad. So we don't have a balanced media, and most people won't take the time or only catch little snippets on social media to make their decisions. And that's why we've got some of these issues.
I got an interesting comment from the audience, then we're going back to Cliff. Could we consider the Speaker of the House here in Massachusetts a king? Doesn't the legislative body have to kiss the rings of the Speaker to get curry favor? Good angle, back to Cliff.
Well, it's a good point that the person brought up, because we had Maura Healey, for instance, our governor, speaking at the No Kings rally, and we had Andrea Campbell, the Attorney General, speaking. She's the one who is fighting the vote by 72% of the voters to audit everything. So she's sort of being a king-like person, although we don't really have a king here in Massachusetts. We have the troika of the governor, the Senate president, and the Speaker of the House. And they have everything pretty well locked up. So compared to them, I think Washington is a pretty chaotic republic working on checks and balances.
Well, Cliff, if I may, I would also add that if you were, when they say king, America is the only country that protects freedom of speech. When they say what they are saying, and if you are intelligent, if you know the Constitution, if you know what is happening, means if someone acts like a king, acting like a king doesn't mean you are a king. If your behavior becomes like a king, what would you do if you are a federal judge and ICE, you are just coming from serving the nation, your job, the ICE, and you park in front of your house. ICE agent come and arrest you just because of the color of your skin, and you said you are a judge, they still arrest you. Who gives that power? And that is a judge after expressing himself. That is what a king can do. And that is not officially condemned. But you see, the media will always justify it. And I wish the person who's holding that microphone, whether he or she has walked in the shoes of those who are at the receiving end.
Yeah. Well, my perception's a little different from yours. My perception is that the mainstream media, ABC, CBS, NBC, New York Times, Washington Post, LA Times.
You didn't mention Fox.
Well, they were a little different. But I think that they would all jump on ICE and on the Trump administration for the arrest of, arbitrary arrest of someone based on their nation of origin, color of their skin.
But I've asked you, how would you feel if you are in the shoe of that person? Let's not scant my question and go around. How would you feel? Put yourself, if you are an honest human being, do unto others as it would be done unto you. Don't stand on the system and move yourself as if you are omnipotent or flawless and make judgment unto people that you have never walked into their shoes.
I think anyone would be upset if this happened to them.
Thank you.
So.
I think there was enough pressure put on ICE by the removing Nome and bringing Holman in and a few other people to make some changes. And because you don't see anything in the media now like you saw before with ICE. And I know Minnesota has always been a hot spot for some of that, but you don't, now that Holman's come in and they've changed some other things, you're not seeing in the news constantly about ICE. In fact, they've been interviewing a number of people with ICE at the airports now to help, and people are very happy with what's going on to helping them get through. But
don't you think that that's freedom of speech and people trying to speak up and bring it up, that the media would eclipse us all that? When once people see injustice, be you on both sides, they will stand up for it. And that is what, when you say people say king and all whatnot, they are saying what is not nice, what is not good, and talking about it. And those who want to turn off the light, they will condemn those who are trying to portray those habits.
Well, again, I agree with you, Fru, and I think that now that Holman's come in to oversee ICE and look at that, he is taking a whole different path on how he wants things done. That's why I was saying, with Nome come out and that one officer that was a supervisor, I think Holman's come in and he understands how things should be, and I think that's changed somewhat. This whole thing about the funding for with ICE and that, the Republicans have said we're going to have body cams on, they're going to have identification on, but the Democrats are still holding out saying, well, they can't wear masks. Well, the problem that they're not saying, the media, is the reason they're wearing masks when they're out there doing this is because people were tracking them and photographing them and then going and finding out where these officers live in their own community and telling people. And then people are coming and, harassing the officers who are doing their jobs. People aren't looking at both sides on why they're doing that. And they've agreed to the body cams and identification and other things. So I don't understand why the Democrats aren't willing to, that's part of negotiations. Not everybody gets everything they want. And I just, don't understand why they're not willing to, come to some kind of agreement here. There's a reason why they were wearing masks, because the officers were getting harassed at their homes and all that, and that's why they started that, because they've been abused too.
Yeah, Holman saying that there's been an 8,000% increase in harassment of ICE police. That seems like a huge number to me.
Well, Cliff, the problem I have with ICE is they're a bunch of clowns. You call them up and their answering machine says, we don't answer the phone, email us. And then you email them and nothing comes back. This is not okay. This is what they did to me. Prove it. I can prove it to you. It's in my cell phone, it's in my email. This ICE business, they're doing a terrible, terrible job. They've got to come clean. Stop sucking my taxpayer funds away.
And on that note, John, which federal agency has been covering their faces and masks? If you are doing something nefarious, you will always want to hide your identity.
No, it's not that. It's not that. If I spit in your face, okay, how do you protect yourself and your family from a clown like me that spits in your face?
I don't, that is not good. That's not
Now,
what
I've seen video. That's what these AHs do to our uniformed units that show up. They spit at the National Guard. They spit at the cops. Why wouldn't you I wouldn't wear a mask in a friggin' heartbeat. I'm not bringing that home to my family.
No, John, with that, I oppose all that. They are doing their job. You on the other side is not also in their own shoes. We should try to be empathetic and try to be in each other's shoe, because they are doing a job that they have been given to do. And if you are doing your job, do it humanly. Don't do it brutally, as if you are the bully. The bully.
A good start is these body cameras, because the body camera, it's marked whose it says, look, that's McDonough's camera, that's Fru's camera, that's Mike's camera. It says whose camera it is. I can wear all the costume, I cover my face to prevent spit from getting in my eyes. But the camera, my point here is the camera is going to be marked. That is Cliff Krieger's uniform camera.
Thank you for clarifying that, John. I didn't know that was it. It's right for them to protect themselves.
Yeah, well, the thing is, I agree. They've agreed to all that. Just like a lot of local police and state police now are wearing body cams for the same reason, so that there's no doubt what was going on. And so, they agreed to, the Republicans agreed for ICE. They said, look, body cams are fine. Identification on them is fine. That's not a problem. They didn't fight that. But they said with the masks, they want protection for their officers. So, I just don't see, I just feel the Democrats are like, we're going to hold out on this no matter what, even if it makes no sense. And I think it's going to come back to bite them some, because all the people traveling now during spring break and waiting 3-4 hours in line to get on an airplane, or missing their flights now because it's so long, they're not going to forget that. They're just not, and they're gonna look at who was causing this problem. And whether we like ICE or not, I think it was kind of brilliant that ICE was moved to the airports to help people, to help their image. So, and they're not wearing masks at the airport either. They're not doing that. So, because they don't feel like they're going to be spit on or whatever.
I got 3 comments.
Mike, I also agree with you. But if I just explain that, George, coming out of her car, her very expensive black Porsche in front of her house, and saying that I am a judge, the eyes was aggressive. What do you think their action as a common man myself. I don't have anything. If they start spitting, there must be a reason. They didn't treat them as Americans, and then we shouldn't defend the indefensible just because we want to take sides.
No, I agree with you. In that case, Fru, they're wrong, and they should be held accountable. I don't have any problem with that at all. But
I got three.
you're done,
Mike.
Go ahead, John.
I got three comments for the audience. Never forget Massachusetts trifecta: Flaherty, Finneran, and Demasi. That's from Bart. I got two more to go. They're also not talking about the fraud in Minnesota, so it worked. And the last text I have: start putting the addresses of people who are spitting at the ICE agents. No, I just think that they should be arrested and fined $1,000. Over to you, Cliff.
Yeah. I think that the body cams will come back to bite the Democrats because they will allow the identification of people spitting on other people and doing other bad acts. And that will result in other activities. But I did see where someone had noted that defunding TSA sort of blew up in the Democrats' face as travelers are going up and personally thanking ICE agents for their service. So I thought that was kind of interesting.
Cliff, I have that ad for, let me see if I can frame it up on the screen here. Make it fit.
Okay.
And it's on the screen now. This is the ad that Fox put on their TV station of the No Kings anti-Trump protest sales team. They're looking to pay cash, and it starts at top reps earn $150 to $200 in cash, paid at the end of the event, and that's going to be I don't know where Cal Anderson Park is, but this is the ad for it. Craigslist, it was on Craigslist. So,
all right, where did you say it is?
I got it off of Fox News.
No, where the rally was being funded.
Cal Anderson Park. Doesn't say anything else. Has a picture of downtown. Looks like downtown Seattle.
Yeah.
So back over to you guys.
Well, this is being funded by some of those non-governmental organizations.
No, they say it's a Chinese guy. That's where the report blamed it on some rich Chinese guy that's trying to ruin America.
Okay. So, Fru sent along a Tucker Carlson video talking about Palestinian Christians in the Holy Land. I did not have the time to view the whole post. So, Fru, is the argument that Israel is discriminating against this group because they're Christians or Palestinians?
Well, Cliff, I just brought that out because we are very selective in what we watch and we publicize. That is Tucker Carlson. You know, he was a Republican reporter and he went there. He conducted his interview sitting with I think it was an archbishop, a Christian, a Jewish archbishop there.
Yep.
And he says that the American people are ignorant. They don't really see the truth. I just send it to you because if I'm talking, it's like it's coming from me. That is Carlson Tucker. And you know he's a Republican. And he was shocked. So he went there with his camera. He said that he was being spat of. Too. That he was born in Nazareth, and his father is a carpenter. And so you saw this thing. I don't want to be interpreting. I just brought that to say that we are very, very selective. and promoting only one we want people to see, and which is not real, it's not factual. The factual is blurred because this media, this tube that we are looking at, it's only one-way street. We don't bring the people that we are talking about to come and give their own side of the story. And that is what makes the media more powerful, and they can do certain things that people will follow them and thinking that it is the truth and the only truth.
Well, Fru, on Channel 5, they're famous for having their editorial board. The editorial president of the TV station, he's going to speak. I don't care what the guy has to say. That's a time to change the channel. I don't care what his opinion is. Do you? What the president of Channel 5, do you care what his opinion is? Fru?
He says it's his opinion. If you understand that language, you will understand that it is his own opinion.
So
that
the
there are
news.
other opinions out there, and if you narrow on that, that shows equally your limited understanding of what he has expressed before saying that. He's not saying the opinion for everyone. You are entitled, on this show, you are entitled for what you say. I am entitled for what I say, and I respect your opinion, and you should equally respect my opinion.
I think we do, Fru.
Thank you.
All right. So, kind of following the same line, there was a Associated Press item that Israeli police prevented Catholic leaders from celebrating the Palm Sunday Mass at a Jerusalem church, claiming that the current military activities going on makes it too dangerous. And I think that that's unfortunate. It's a bad look.
No, it's not, Cliff. If they don't let the Muslims profess their faith, I've been to Israel. Okay, there's like 500 churches in Israel, and there's a few Catholic ones. There's a lot of mosques there, and if they're not let the mosques celebrate their religion on their favorite day of the week, I don't know whether it's Saturday or Sunday, I don't know what their religious day is, respectfully. Not making fun of it, I just don't know what it is. If they're not letting them, how can they let the Catholics?
And Cliff, what was very, very striking in that video is the bishop, the Catholic bishop, he says that most of the historic sites that they received funds from the Arabs and from the king of Jordan to build Christian and renovate Christian holy sites. And that will not really be carried out in the Western media. And if the king of Jordan, if you ask that question, is he a Christian or Muslim? Then you really see how people, the minds of people in that area, that the media shapes them contrary to what is on the ground.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, the king of Jordan is a Muslim, no doubt. But he apparently has empathy for Arabs in Israel on the other side of the Jordan.
Religiously, are they not the sons of one? Are they not from one genealogy? All those in that, the people in that area, religiously.
I'm sorry, I missed it. The question.
I mean, when you look, the Christians or whoever are they not just descendants of the same faith, or Abraham, Moses, Muhammad, and all that?
From Abraham.
So if you listen, why is it that there's turmoil there? Is that not a gesture from a Muslim king to be building and giving funds to rehabilitate Christian sites. But I never heard that on the media until I saw it from Tucker Carlson's report. And what happened? That Tucker Carlson has gone on this crusade, which in some areas he's being vilified.
There is sort of a question of whether or not Tucker Carlson has drifted towards the Groyper side of the Republican Party.
What does that mean, Cliff?
There's the Groyper Army out there.
I don't know what the Groyper. Who's the Groypers? Is that like the little get-go guy I have for the insurance? He's a Groyper?
Yeah. Some would say far-right, anti-Semitic group in the Republican Party.
I don't think that Tucker Carlson's anti-Semitic.
Okay. So we'll see.
I think he's
but
right.
Why should that conversation
Titanic.
come in, Cliff? If someone says something contrary, that's what I was just saying. If someone says something, his own opinion, then we give them these labels. Those labels are really, really, really powerful.
Yeah.
They threaten you. Dare not open your mouth again. Therefore, there's no freedom of speech.
Yeah. I wanted to move on to.
Well, Cliff, I'll give you a perfectly good example of what Fru just referred to. When I said that Tucker Carlson is not he's not an anti-Semitic in my mind, you just agree with it. Does that mean you hate Jews? That kind of stupid question that I ended up with, does that mean you hate Jews, should not be allowed. And yet the media does it all the time.
Thank you, John. We are here to learn. At least I'm here to learn.
Well, does that mean you hate Jews? What a terrible thing to say. It's wrong. It shuts people right up.
But
Fru's
you
right.
realize there are people out there who hate Jews, right?
Are you one of them?
That's your opinion. And it shouldn't be the popular opinion.
And you should start off by an I am not one of them.
I don't think I've ever displayed anything to suggest I was.
Well, you have to, in the media world, Cliff, you have to stick up for yourself. Otherwise, they'll just roll right over you.
Yeah. Well, that's what I'm trying to avoid right now, is you trying to roll right over me.
That's a challenge for every show.
So, yeah,
So let's talk to the other anti-Semite. Mike, how you doing?
I'm doing okay. Why are you talking about me as an anti-Semite?
Well, you're supposed to say, I am not. You have to defend yourself. You can't just go what the media tells you.
Oh.
You should talk about, I am not an anti-Semite. That's what you got to bang him with.
Yeah, but why do you even have to, respond to that? Where is that? They're just, when they ask questions like that, they're just trying to make more news. They're trap questions. It's just ridiculous on some of the times when they try to make these questions. Because if you say you're not an anti-Semite, people will go, well, I don't believe you. And then other people say, oh, okay, he verified that he's not. So it's a no-win situation for the person having to answer the question.
Cliff, we got 60 seconds.
John, you have heard the expression, the Corbynization of the Democratic Party, right?
That's the epitaph on the tombstone, Cliff. What the hell are you talking about?
Well, you know what the Democratic Party is.
No, Cliff, you're always the smartest person in the room. Please enlighten us.
You know, they're the ones that caucus as Democrats on Capitol Hill.
Cliff, the Democrats have a machine. The Republicans have beautiful horses, wonderful uniforms, nice silver swords, and they're going to lose. The Democrats have a mighty machine, and I've been getting texts from a guy with all these pictures of the King's Day on Saturday in Lowell. I'm going to show that after the break.
Okay.
All right.
Fru, we give you the last word. You got to skedaddle.
Dawn Patrol Show is fair and balanced. Always come there for the news.
I'll put you on the judgment team on Judgment Day. Fru, have a good week.
Thank you, John.
Thanks, Fru.
Okay, nice seeing you again, Fru.
Okay, Mike.
Oh boy, we are not doing what I want to do here today. Where is Mahoney's? There it is. Okay, put the music on.
Nice seeing you again, Fru.
Okay, Mike.
Oh boy. So, Fru, Cliff, give me a couple minutes. I'll go find those videos. And, they had a beautiful day. The Democrats had a beautiful day for the King's March. It was a great day for those guys and gals. A lot of smiles.
Okay.
You ready to go?
Just a second. Yeah.
You good?
Yes.
You're on.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome to the City Life Show. I'm Cliff Krieger, your host. Eileen Delrossi, my co-host. Hello, Eileen. You're on mute, Eileen. And Mike Smith from Florida, and our producer, John McDonough. So John is looking to get some video from the No King's Day demonstration down at Kerouac Park, and while he's doing that, I thought I'd mention that this year Lowell's 200th anniversary, and the city announced the availability of grant funding to support cultural and creative initiatives.
Comment from the audience. Maybe the Pope should stop blaming the Americans for all the world's problems. Well, we are a big ingredient. I'll give the Pope a lot of leeway there. I like this new Pope. Back over to you, Cliff. Why am I not here? Are you muted, Cliff?
No.
I wasn't hearing what you were saying. I can hear you now. Please proceed.
So this funding opportunity is made possible through the American Rescue Act, and is designed to revitalize Lowell's cultural economy, which was impacted by COVID-19.
So I have a question. Isn't that American Rescue Plan, isn't that the ARPA funds? And similar to the school side, the ESSER funds? So why would we try to start a new initiative when we only know it's going to be taken away?
Well, I think what it is it's a spend it or lose it amount of money. And so the city's decided to make available $250,000 with the maximum grant of $50,000. So they've opened up an application period for nonprofits, cultural institutions, event producers, as a way of celebrating our 200th anniversary. There's one of those tiny URLs out there I think that if you just searched on the subject matter, you could find it. Guidelines, eligibility, speaking of that. So yeah, Eileen, I think you're right. We don't want to start any long-term initiative with the little amount of money we have remaining.
I mean, and because we got our budget books this week, and so if they're saying all of these positions were created during COVID and with the ESSER funds, then it shows on the next column, it shows the positions that increased with ESSER, and then in the next column it shows the positions that decreased with ESSER, but it doesn't add up because there's different positions. If you hired a library teacher and a reading teacher with COVID funds, then why aren't those positions being eliminated? But then you're losing paras and teachers from a classroom. So I have a lot of questions, and the fact that the city would start an initiative that we only know will be cut is just, I don't know, it's just doing the same thing. The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again and expecting a different result.
What we're looking at, what the audience is looking at, I don't know if you guys can see this or not, is the fantastic crowd they had at the No King's Day. The Democrats put up this, and you might see some bad words in the signs. That's not my take, it's just that's in the video, but they had fantastic weather, they had a great gathering, and kudos, my tip of the cap. You guys, fantastic performance, congratulations. Back over to you, Cliff.
Okay, well, I'm trying to get that up so I can see it.
All right, I'll leave it up for a minute or so. That's okay. They had a great crowd. I got a bunch of slideshows too. This first one, I don't know this gal personally. Michelle Bouchard put this up, and a woman by the name of Marsha Peck Cassidy put up a slideshow. I'll show that in a minute or so. Once Cliff gets to see this crowd.
So Eileen, before this all goes into history, do you have any final thoughts on the trial of Kelsey Fitzsimmons, the police officer who claimed she was going to kill herself?
I just saw I saw and heard a lot more of the video of their relationships this past weekend, and it just was very toxic. And I think, for anybody in that toxic relationship, it's normalized today. And people still need to remember how toxic things can get with certain people if they're pushed to a point. Not pushed to a point, but, they don't have the coping skills to be able to deal with difficulty. Oh, and I also heard that Justin was cheating on Kelsey with maybe someone they work with or one of her friends or something. So she had lots of reasons to not be okay with him. But I guess it's all hearsay, but it's just what I've heard over the weekend.
So I got the slideshow now. A woman by the name of Marsha Peck Cassidy put this on her Facebook page. I'm going to sit this up so I'm going to go through these. And again, the Democrats had a fantastic weather day, and a lot of notables are in these pictures, and they had a great time. Congratulations. And they had it on the site of what's called Kerouac Park, which is on Bridge Street in downtown Lowell. And got a pretty dog.
Did you call her a dog?
Pretty dog.
Pretty dog. I only bite fascists. That's cute. So this is pretty cool. And again, I got text from a guy who sent these to me this morning. So again, a great crowd. They had a great time. And I don't know if they had, I think that was the Congresswoman, wasn't it? Isn't that Lori Trahan?
Yes.
Maybe so. I'm thinking
She
that's,
was there.
I'm thinking that's Lori. What'd you say, Cliff?
She was there.
Okay.
And our state senator.
This is a little band, I don't know what they're saying. Sometimes they use the magical F word, so we're not going to listen to what they have to sing about here. Moving right along here. Now, I think this is the guy from WCAP. I think that's Sam Polton, but I'm not sure. I don't know. It certainly does look like him. Oh, out of bed, right up front, there's Vanna Howard. Senator Vanna Howard. Hello, Senator. Glad you were able to make it on Saturday. There's Lori Trahan speaking.
No, that's Vanna Howard.
Didn't I say Vanna Howard? Senator
Yeah,
Howard?
but you said it was Lori Trahan speaking.
Well, you're looking at it behind me, Cliff. Takes a few seconds. There's your favorite senator, Vanna Howard, speaking. I'll wait till it's up on screen on Facebook. You see Vanna now?
Yeah, there's Vanna.
Okay. So you're a little bit behind me. What are you watching on YouTube?
Television.
Okay. But hey, they had a fan. Look at the crowd, man. Absolutely fantastic. There had to be 1,000 people there.
Yeah.
Nice little kiddo. I think that's Marsha right there. Marsha Cassidy. 1,000 years ago, she used to work at the Lowell Sun. I used to hand her obituaries. When there was nobody else in the office, she'd take obituaries. Nice gal. I don't know this. I don't. A lot of these people, I have no idea who they are. And some people don't want to be in the picture. But they had a great weather day. It was a little chilly, but still they came out. It was great. I don't see any food. Did they take them out to lunch afterwards or something?
I don't know, but it ran from noon on, so I think maybe they were expecting people who have chowed down ahead of time.
There's Lanahan. I think his name is Jim Lanahan. I forget. Bill. I forget. What's Lanahan's first name, Cliff?
It escapes me.
That's okay. It's gone.
Jay Linehan, right?
Jay Lanahan. That's it. Thank you. Look at that crowd. Fantastic job. Now, maybe that's not Polton. I'm sorry. I misidentified this guy. That is not Sam Polton. Sorry. Don't know who he is. So they had a lot of participation. Congratulations. And that looks like I've gone around them all. So I'm going to go back over to Cliff. And there you go, Cliff. Back over to you.
Speaking of no kings, last week Howie Carr came out and said of the late Robert Mueller, who did that investigation of President Trump, that he was a dirty cop, period.
Well, Trump should have just buttoned his lip. That was a cruel, cruddy thing to say about any dead guy.
I agree. In the meantime, the Justice Department settled with Michael Flynn the wrongful prosecution suit for $1.25 million.
I got 2 texts here, Cliff. Everyone should go to the homes of the people protesting and see if they like it. I don't know about that. And then, did I get permission to use those pictures? No, they're on Facebook. I don't have to get permission. Facebook's a public forum. Back over to you, Cliff.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with you, John. Going to people's home, you're just sinking to the level that they've been doing. Why do you want to? you can't criticize them for doing something if you're going to do it yourself.
Good point, Mike.
Okay. So we talked last week, but I thought I'd just bring it up again. Boston Globe had an article on Lowell being the best place to live in Massachusetts, noting that we're up here in Middlesex County, upper Middlesex County, not down there in the south with
Well, Cliff,
Cambridge.
what do you like about living in Lowell?
I like the fact that it feels like I am part of the international community. I've lived in my Air Force career of 30 years, I lived overseas 15 years.
How many different places?
Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10.
Plus, in America, how many places you lived in? California, where else?
Oh, I've lived in Florida and twice, 3 times in Florida, Virginia, Pennsylvania.
So of all those, so like there's 16, 18 different places where you've laid your head to rest for more than 6 months. What changes did you see between Europe and the United States?
Yeah, well, like going from Italy to Alaska was a cultural change. A lot more formal living in Italy, a lot more blue jeans and informal in Alaska.
Okay, well, I'll tell you, what I like about Lowell is the change in nationalities we have. We call it diversity. We all live together, and we're having a blast. No matter where you go, there can be an Asian guy there, a European guy there, a Hawaiian guy. It doesn't make any difference. An African guy there. We're going to have a blast, and you're not afraid of different people. I know people who live in other parts of the country that are a little taken aback when they see something that doesn't look like them. People who live in very rural America, where the white flight is gone, as they say. And I like also about Lowell the speed of emergency services. If you call 911, you're going to have an ambulance at your house within 3 minutes. That don't happen in Billerica. That don't happen in Chelmsford. Doesn't happen in Tewksbury. You call the cops, they're going to be at your house within 3 minutes. Doesn't happen in the towns. Also, a grocery store. I could be to a grocery store in 5 minutes. Not just a Frank and Ernie, I could be a variety store in a minute. Whether I go to Towers News or I go to Frank and Ernie's, there's plenty of grocery stores. And you just don't see that in the towns. I love the convenience of Lowell. And for to-go food, we have more pizza parlors and sub shops that you can count on 2 hands. Back to you, Cliff.
Now, what do you think, Eileen?
Well, I agree with John because I've been doing a lot of traveling through Massachusetts with Anthony's baseball. Yesterday he had a game in Groveland, Mass. And I put in just Dunkin' Donuts or McDonald's, and the closest one, or even I had to go to CVS because I forgot a charger. The closest one was 10 minutes from the field. And so I thought to myself, just because of that drive time, I would never get anything accomplished because I'd be like, I don't want to drive that far. But I guess then again, I'd be used to it if I lived in that town. But here, I mean, it's a 2-minute drive for me to go to a Market Basket, a CVS, a Walgreens, and to me, that helps make life a little easier.
Yeah.
So, I I just want to mention this. Over here in Centerville, we've had 2 big fires. What would be causing these fires? One on like Lower Bridge Street in Lowell, and then this morning there's another one up on the Drake side of Bridge Street.
Well, I would think candles have a big deal to do with it. Candles should be chastised. The usage of candles, unattended candles, should be chastised in everybody's house. If you're going to walk out of the room and there's a candle, blow the candle out.
I'm very good with that.
I would have thought faulty electrical stuff.
Yeah, because I have that crime radar up, and one I thought said a construction fire, but I don't know what the difference between a construction fire and a structural fire is, because I know there's both.
Well, a construction fire, if I have like a little blowtorch to heat up a screw to help it get out of to pack it in harder or to back it off, I can see where, I know workmen that use blowtorches, and it's a handheld thing, and it really is fire, and I look at them, where's your fire extinguisher? And they look at you, oh yeah, I should have one of those, shouldn't I? And they just continue to do their work, they don't get a fire extinguisher.
Because they've been doing a lot of work at this house on Bridge Street, because, the 19th Street and Willard Street area have been closed off. And now I think it's all for nothing, because now that house is all boarded up.
Well,
Because of the fire.
fire's never a good thing. Sad to say.
So, how are things on the school committee? When did you last meet, Eileen?
We last met as a committee 2 weeks ago, so we have a meeting this week, and first on the agenda is going over the budget.
Okay. You going to spend lots of my money?
Well, I'm trying to see if whatever many jobs is possible to save. Because we were also given a bunch of retirements and resignations a few weeks ago. So how many jobs can we save with that? And can we just move people instead of them losing their jobs?
Hey, I gotta hold up the horses here for a second. It's Linda Sawyer's birthday. Most of you guys know Mike Sawyer, big, tall, handsome kiddo. Handsome guy. You're gonna see him walking down Andover Street a lot. Well, it's his mom Linda's birthday, so I just want to wish Linda happy birthday and many more of them. I hope you have a great day, and I hope Mike takes you out for a steak. Back over to you, Cliff.
Okay. I did see, speaking of people, the Lowell Sun had a article that the superintendent at Greater Lowell Technical High is going to retire at the end of the year after 30 years of service.
Who's retiring?
Jill Davis.
Oh yeah, the girl who runs the Vogue. Hey Eileen, there's an opportunity for you.
I don't think so. Although I heard she was a special ed teacher before she became special ed.
There you go.
I mean, a superintendent.
Get out there, baby. Good pay.
Don't you have to have some sort of certification, Eileen, to be a superintendent?
Yeah. I mean, I wouldn't. I mean,
I think she does. I think she does. Don't you already have that, Eileen?
I do. But I don't think I'd be daring enough to use it. That's a huge job.
Well, if you don't push yourself ahead, kid, you throw your hat in the ring. What do you got to lose? Learn the process. Learn the process.
I just think maybe when Anthony is older, because right now in sports and everything, it's just, everything is a drive and time consuming. And I love the fact that he loves his sports and he's doing that. And like, to me, that's important for him, you know, and even the time we have in the car together or whatever, the little conversations we have, I feel like I wouldn't have that time with him if I was to take a big job like that right now.
Respect the fact that when he gets a girlfriend, you are toast.
Yes, and then I'll be looking for a bigger meaning in my life.
Yeah. So, I saw where in the Sun that Lowell's graduation rates are up, absenteeism is down.
Who wrote the article?
Melanie. But that's according to data provided by the assistant superintendent. And not for nothing, everyone's scores are going to be up. And I don't like to dismiss anything, but at the same time, any score is going to be up after COVID, especially.
So the Boston Globe said, had an article that their graduation rates in Boston were up, but not achievement, which is down. So, yeah.
Well, I believe the same in Lowell. I mean, I think the bar gets lowered here often, unfortunately.
So, well, are you suggesting the assistant superintendent of schools and leadership, Wendy Crocker, is it LaBerge?
Yes.
Yeah.
Cliff, would you say that again? You bubbled up.
Yeah.
What
Assistant Superintendent for Schools and Leadership, Wendy Crocker Roberge. So.
I'm just saying that scores are going to go up regardless because of you go from a pandemic to a non-pandemic. So every district is going to see a rise in something. What our students are accountable to know and to achieve to move on per grade level has obviously become less demanding because every child needs to pass because of the chapter 33 and a half H, I think it was, that was passed in 2014. So instead of looking bad, I'm sure the district assures that it needs to look good on the paper. And I'm saying that that data can be looked at in many different ways.
I got a bunch of texts I'm going to read here. How about when they protest and block emergency services? Is that okay? That's from Jay. I wonder if solar panels have anything to do with it. And the last text says, how did we score statewide? Never mind a good newspaper article. How did we score statewide?
Horribly.
Oh.
Do you have that graph that I sent you, John, comparing Lowell and Westford in the state?
Is it in Facebook? I'll go look.
Yeah, I think it was in Messenger. But yeah, not pretty.
So, is the school committee concerned about this?
They want to don't.
Well, no, because they've been very happy that the trends within their own trends are increasing. If that makes sense, right? So the district gives itself its own targets, right? And so according to the data within the data, they're reaching those targets.
Okay. So
but we're not meeting the state target.
we're not surging ahead. We're improving, but not surging.
Exactly. We're not meeting the bigger criteria.
So.
Hold on, let me send this to John.
Okay. While you're doing that, there's an effort underway to decolonize William Shakespeare's birthplace over fears that portraying his success as the greatest playwright benefits the ideology of white European supremacy.
Another text. Does the panel remember how the numbers were misconstrued when it came to COVID? Don't trust the media or the government when it comes to statistics. That's from Jay. Good point.
Yeah. So, So there's a Shakespeare's Birthplace Trust, which owns the buildings in the playwright's hometown of Stratford upon Avon, and it wants to create a more inclusive museum experience and announced it will move away from Western perspectives after concerns were raised that Shakespeare's ideas were used to advance white supremacy ideas. It's apparently I'm not very woke because I had not thought about Shakespeare as advancing white ideas, although perhaps advancing Western European ideas. So there's apparently some backlash against Shakespeare, with products being given trigger warnings for misogyny, racism, and problematic radicalized dynamics that link whiteness to beauty. Okay, so in 2022, a research project between the Trust and Dr. Helen Hopkins at the University of Birmingham postulated the idea of Shakespeare's universal genius benefits the ideology of West European supremacy.
So up on the screen, I don't know if it's on your TV screen yet, Cliff, is what Eileen sent me. An overall MCAS performance in Westford, ELA, whatever that is.
English Language Arts.
English Language Arts. Westford got a 64, Lowell got a 30. In math, Westford got a 67, Lowell got a 35. And moving right along here by grades. And scroll this slide just a little bit to the right. Okay. Elementary school in grades 3 to 5. Westford got a 55 to 59 in English Language Arts. And in math, they got a 62 to 69. And in Lowell, they got a 19 versus a 29. And in math, 26 and 35. Middle school, grades 6 to 8, Westford. They got a 63 in English Language Arts and a 72 in math versus Lowell, sadly, 28 to 34%. Lowell's doing terrible. Yikes.
Right. But within their own targets, they're doing good.
Who creates their target? You should tell your superintendent he's got to go up 5 points or there's no bonus. High school, where the rubber hits the road, you're on your way to college. In English Language Arts, Westford kids get 78. In Lowell, English Language Arts, they get 30%. Horrible. Math, 78% in Westford, 23% in Lowell. Let's give the superintendent a round of applause. And why are you picking the superintendent? He's the boss.
Right, and you know what? And maybe it's my fault because I know all of this data from being in the field of teaching, like where they want to look good. You know, it's hard for me because I know the district creates their own targets, right? And so
if you look at what's the slide right now, it says other academic indicators. What is this, attendance, or is this eating lunch? That Westford got 1,071 and Lowell only 200 points behind? I don't think so. Graduation rate, 96% Westford, 82% Lowell. Well, who stayed back in Lowell? AP pass, whatever the AP pass rate is, 93% in Westford, 67% in Lowell.
John.
Yes, Cliff.
Looking at Westford and looking at Lowell, what's the difference?
The difference is 2-parent families You have a higher income from folks that have a great education, so they respect education a lot more. I would say those are the two main factors, two-parent families and a higher respect for education.
Yeah, I think that I would tend to agree with you that we're looking at Westford as being a sort of upper middle class community, and we're looking at Lowell not being quite an upper middle
Yeah,
class.
but Cliff, I got to back here a little bit. That when you're applying to be the manager of Target, who's going to get the job?
Right, yeah. I see, and
My uncle.
and I do see what you're saying. You know what I mean? Like, and it's so hard, but what are we doing and what can we do to help our students with where they're at right now? And until we can have that conversation, then we're really negating the entire situation instead of...
Eileen, I think you're missing the picture here, okay? We hired a superintendent to take care of these problems. You have to give the superintendent, look at buddy, if you don't move our MCAS up 5 points across every board, you're not going to get your bonus. The emphasis has got to be, we have to push excellence. We only have one opportunity to teach our children, and then they're out the door, because nobody's going to stay back. Why doesn't anybody stay back? You have both, so in the superintendent's world, if you have 3 tires on your car instead of 4, he's going to put an inspection sticker on your car that you passed.
Right, a rejection sticker and say it's okay for life.
He's going to say, he's not going to put a rejection sticker. He's going to say your car passed. Move on.
John?
Like that comparison, John.
What can a superintendent do to overcome the socioeconomic differences between Westford and Lowell?
He can go out to Westford, spend a month with the guy out there, find out how he runs the school system. That's
well, exactly. Even the way they do MCAS is different. It's not all at once. It's given, like, my 3rd grade had it last Friday, and then they won't have it again until this Friday. So they're given time to decompress and not be stressed about it, because they acknowledge that MCAS is a stressor. And I don't think that's like crazy brain stuff. And I think having a lower socioeconomic classification, we need to be cognizant of just that basic thing and maybe do similar.
Well, maybe you know, maybe you don't know. Years ago, I had a chat room with undertakers from all around the world. And I learned more from those guys and gals than I learned in embalming school. It was just absolutely fantastic to sit there at my keyboard and talk to somebody in Japan, talk to somebody in France, talk to somebody in Chicago, and just learn different ways that they did their funerals. And I just picked the good points and implemented them here. Fantastic stuff you can find at a round table. And there's no more round table, it's all on Zoom.
But what gets difficult is that people start to think they know the best way, and their way is the only way, and they're going to make it sound whatever way they want to the public, because the public is not educated in what they know is true, which is a frustration.
Now, I got a comment from Bart. Look on the bright side. Teachers will have the next 2 Mondays off, and that April vacation, starting the 20th, they only have to work 15 days in the month of April. Fantastic. My granddaughters have got to be absolutely tickled pink.
I don't know what that is, because next Monday is the day after Easter. I even have to work on Good Friday in Westford, because they only do a half day for Good Friday, where they have the Muslim holiday all off, which has been interesting learning.
Now we can understand why the Israelis did not let them have Catholic Mass.
How's that, John?
Well, Eileen is belly aching that the Muslims got the whole day off and the Catholics only getting half day off.
Well, I wasn't bellying. I think it's interesting to me that like the Catholic religion in Lowell is what the Muslim religion is to Westford. You know, and I think that's intriguing.
Well, sadly, I'll bet you attendance at the Muslim mosque is higher than the Westford Catholic Church.
Yes. Very true.
Crickets.
Okay.
Crickets. Crickets.
I agree. No, I agree.
No, I mean, it's just a matter of Cliff has nothing to say there.
What is there to say?
Where are the Catholics?
They're at home.
They're thinking about becoming Muslim.
I don't know about that, but I don't think so.
On the other hand, people joining the Catholic Church was up again this year. The numbers.
Can't trust government authorities when it comes to counting themselves. Are we doing a great job? We have 300 people watch the show.
Jeez. But do I trust undertakers telling me they're doing a good job?
Oh, we're doing a fantastic job. Nobody gets out of here alive.
So,
Speaking of which, there is a rumor going around about being dead. And they're afraid they're going to wake up in the cremation chamber, or they're afraid they're going to wake up once they've been buried. And all they can tell you, if that's running through your mind and you're losing sleep over it, call your favorite undertaker and tell him or her that when you die, you want to be embalmed. And when you are embalmed, most of your precious blood is removed from your body. And without blood, you are never going to wake up. It's replaced with a chemical called formaldehyde. It used to be formaldehyde. I don't know what the secret ingredient is nowadays. I don't study it anymore. But if it bothers you, and there's a rumor going around that a lot of people think they're going to wake up in the middle of their cremation, or they're going to wake up underground, which are horrible thoughts. I hope I'm not planting any seeds there. Just tell your favorite undertaker, hey, I want to be embalmed. End of story. Back over you, Cliff.
John, why not just put a string in the casket to a bell up above the grass?
Suppose you wake up at 3 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah. You could still ring the bell.
Who's going to hear it? The antelope and the deer?
Wait, but John, do you think that's really ever happened? That somebody wakes up alive?
Eileen, I have been hearing since I went to embalming school of bodies moving when they're alive. I'd say it's 1 in a million are picked up, but they're discovered before any embalming process. And that's why, I know this is gross. That's why I like to talk about embalming, because when you embalm someone, when you begin the operation, when you make your first incision, if the person bleeds, they're still alive.
Oh, yeah.
So, undertakers, 1 in a million. I mean, you'll hear once they picked up some little old lady, a little old guy from the nursing home. They got him back to the funeral home when he was alive. They called the ambulance. The ambulance brought him to the hospital, and they died 3 days later. So, somebody gets fired at the nursing home, and things get called into line. It's not less when somebody passes away at any facility or even at home, the medical professionals who are there make damn sure they're right, because they have to fill out documentation that you are dead.
Yeah. So wait, so you're like a surgeon. You embalm people.
Yeah.
Really?
Not anymore, but yeah.
Interesting.
In the olden days.
All right.
So, Eileen, this article I read about Shakespeare, going back to education, said that in 2021 it was reported a growing number of woke academics are refusing to teach Shakespeare. because he pushes white supremacy. Do we have a position on that here in Lowell?
I
Do we
mean,
teach Shakespeare?
we're graduating kids that can't read, so I don't think we're teaching Shakespeare.
Comment from the audience. How did the people in the inner city ever succeed? We have to stop creating victims and promote individual achievements. That might be a start. And then the second one is directed to Michael down in Florida. Mike, can you just torture us and give us the weather in Florida?
It's going to be about 80 today, and it's supposed to be in the high 70s to 80 all week. So it should be pretty good weather. We might get some rain on Thursday, I believe.
Enjoy. We're jealous.
Tough living down there.
I've been listening, and you talked about, in the inner city or where people have more poverty. I just was watching something the other day about families, and we had this great thing that was started, for helping people out, in the late 60s, 70s, and the decline of family and minorities has grown so big, compared to back then, especially in the black community, that, not having a father there, having a two-parent home, this is why these kids, some of them are not getting better in school or not moving forward, because the schools can only do so much. They really can. If you don't have the support in your family home life, whether it's from a mom, dad, grandmother, grandparents, whatever, if you don't have somebody there making you understand the importance and of that and getting an education moving forward, then the chances of success are going to be so little. And with these gangs that are in a lot of these areas, young people are looking to the gangs as the only way they feel they can succeed or get ahead. And until you break that cycle, you're not going to see a change in some of these areas. I don't think, the schools can only do so much, as I said. We're not addressing the root problem. If you don't have a solid support family life, then how can you get ahead? I mean, you need somebody there to support you and move you forward.
Right. I mean, I'm sure I said it last week. The parent-teacher conference is just in Westford from Lowell and Methuen. I mean, I was amazed at the amount of dads that were showing up and completely invested. And it was refreshing to see, because something you barely ever saw in Lowell and Methuen. You barely even saw a mother show up. And if it was a parent, it was either just one mother or the completely stable two-parent family, and they came together. But that was rare and far between.
Yeah, I mean, we always are throwing money at stuff, but I don't think that we're always looking at the root cause. And I've learned one thing over the years: if you don't address the root cause, then you're just putting a Band-Aid on stuff. And it takes effort and dedication and perseverance to address those root causes. And I just don't think we're looking at things the right way. A lot of these kids do not have stable home lives, and that's the root cause. And I've suggested many times to try to break some of that to different people I've talked to, is that the kids, they go to school in the morning, they get their breakfast there, they get their lunch at school, and they stay until 5 or 6 o'clock at night, and then they bus them home, where they're in a stable environment, and even if they have to get dinner there, and to help them understand the importance of education and safety, being in a safe environment to move forward. That's going to take a bunch of money. That would take a lot of changing of thought. But I believe that would help a lot of these kids in these situations.
Do the parents support the kids learning and getting a job? I remember, and this is just a one-off, but it stuck with me, that someone told me about a kid at Greater Lowell who needed to sign off from the parents to do a work study at some job. And the parents said, no, we're not signing off. We don't do that kind of thing. They were on welfare.
Oh yeah, because any income within the home is considered income no matter what. So even if the child was receiving the income, it would count against the parent's income.
Ah. There's a little nuance that I had not realized.
Unless you change the child's address. If you change the child's address, I think it changes. So you can have, Cliff, how many rooms in your house?
I don't know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 11, I guess.
So if you put your son and put a sign on his door, apartment A, he can use Manchester Street, your address, apartment A. And he has a different address than yours, and his benefits will not marry up to yours. That's my takeaway from this regulation.
That's crazy.
Not good.
Okay, comment from the audience. The economics of Westford are a lot different than most. The other towns around them, Westford is the most affluent town in the Merrimack Valley. I will say they're affluent. I don't know if they're the most affluent, but again, if you're making $500,000 a year and your spouse is making $500,000 a year, I don't think you're gonna live on Bridge Street. Just don't think that's gonna happen.
No, I agree. I mean, and trust me, I go for a walk during my lunch. I'm like Little Red Riding Hood looking for someone to adopt me, walking around there. But, I mean, I would say Newton is probably one of the most affluent towns. I know it's Middlesex County. I don't know if it's the Merrimack Valley, if it's included in that. I don't think it is. But, yeah, out of the Merrimack Valley, I would say Westford is the most affluent. Throughout Middlesex County, I would say like Newton, Upper Falls, Wellesley.
Well, a lot of my friends, I have a few friends in Westford, and one of them is hanging in Westford by the skin of their teeth. They just can't make the payments on their. It's a beautiful home, beautiful piece of property. They have he started leasing his cars, and he's trying to cut corners every place he can go to keep his house. And I told him, just get out of there. Why are you living to pay for that house? Get out of there, move to Chelmsford or move to Lowell. Come on back. Move to Tewksbury. It's a lot cheaper. Why are you hanging on for a house payment? But he says, happy wife, happy life. Comment from Jay. Great show today. I just saw a Kit Kat truck going down the street. Enjoy the Easter holiday. Enjoy the Easter holiday, Mr. Smith. That's from Jay.
Kit Kat truck. That would make my day.
Yep. Okay. So, any new thoughts on Lowell Senior Center? Do we think that's going to come up to the city council this week again?
I think it will. I think it's something the council's got to fight, and I think we should fight this thing and also continue to build a new place in 20 years. Because if we renew this lease, we're going to be working out of a 40-year-old building. The toilets in that building are always are the older style where you have to squat down to the ground practically to use them. And so it's time that we consider getting a brand new senior center.
Yeah.
That would involve proactive thinking, and that's not what we do here, though. We are just reactive thinking.
No, it's so sad that a person like Tom Golden has to come up with this idea, and they'll say, Tom, that's genius. That's what's got to happen. So tomorrow's City Life, we got Bob Hoey, Francisco Maldonado, Tom Bommel, and City Councilor Sean McDonough is going to be here too. That's tomorrow's City Life. Time is shot, Cliff.
Yeah. So I want to drag this in from the United Kingdom. A member of Parliament, Zara Sultana, who said Zionism is one of the greatest threats to humanity, is being brought up by the Parliamentary Commissioner for Standards. And this chap, Daniel Liu, wrote, I freely admit that Sultana is not a natural free speech advocate. She has supported deplatforming voices she disagrees with and co-leads a party in explicit opposition to liberal freedoms. She would likely not extend the same defense to her political opponents. None of that matters. The principle does not depend on the value of the beneficiary. If we only defend the free speech we agree with, we do not actually believe in free speech. The liberal tradition holds that the state's coercive mechanisms should not be used to adjudicate between competing political opinions, however much those opinions horrify us. To which I say, too right. So, and I think that we sort of respect that approach here on City Life about not just condemning people because we disagree with their opinion.
Well, since time is short, I'm going to ask this question. Mike, down in Florida, what's the best meal you had over the weekend?
What's the best meal we had over the weekend?
That you had, not we, you had.
I'm just thinking about what we had.
All right, you can ponder that. I'll go over to Cliff.
Yeah.
Cliff, best meal you had over the weekend?
Chinese.
Okay, like, can you tell, rice or boneless spare ribs, or what'd you have?
I had beef and snow peas over rice, and I had a spring roll. I was hoping to have an egg roll, but I ended up with the spring roll. But with hot mustard, it was pretty good.
Now, where's your favorite Chinese outlet for food?
It got wiped out.
Okay.
Because the Board of Health said they weren't keeping a clean place, and they were replaced by trolley pizza.
So, you got it from a closed place? How'd you get that?
How'd I get what?
You just said you had Chinese food over the weekend.
Yeah.
I asked what the outlet was, and you said the place was closed. I'm puzzled.
Oh, no. You asked me where my favorite place was, and my favorite place was closed. I don't know where I got the Chinese food. I delegated that to
Okay, move around.
And
Thank
he
you.
ordered it online.
Time is short, so Mike, did you come up with an idea?
Well, we actually had last weekend. We had a potluck dinner at the clubhouse. So we had some excellent shepherd's pie somebody brought in. So I thought that was really good.
They have that potluck dinner once a year down at LTC. It's delicious stuff. Eileen, what's your favorite meal you had over the weekend? While Eileen's thinking about the answer, I'm going to tell you, I went to George's Delicatessen. I got 2 hot dogs, plain, and when I got them home, I put piccalilli under them, and they were sensational.
So I'm sorry I was muted. But last night on the way home from baseball, we stopped at Royal Roast Beef, and we both got a chicken teriyaki bowl, and it was absolutely delicious.
Fantastic. So we got 60 seconds, Cliff. Anything you want to put out there we forgot to tell people?
Well, I'm confused. Eileen went to a roast beef place and bought chicken?
It has everything, Cliff. I'll shoot you the menu.
Okay. Great.
And since Eileen is in education, I just thought I'd remind her that today is National Pencil Day. So the kids, yep, National Pencil Day. So.
Can you tell me real quick when Teacher Appreciation Week is?
I'll have to look that up for next week. I'll find that out. Okay.
All right, I think it's the beginning of May, but.
Well,
Okay.
that's us for us. That's it for us. I hope everyone has a good week. And John, we are having a show on Good Friday.
Yes, we are.
Okay.
Hey, thanks for watching. We'll see you tomorrow.
Bye-bye, everybody.
All right.
Thanks, Eileen.
Okay. We'll see you next Monday. All right. Have a good day.
Thanks, Mike. Thanks, Eileen.
Okay.
Thanks,
Bye.
Cliff.